You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today, it's Saturday, and as usual, I've got a great tip for you from Jeff Bajorek. But Jeff's going to take a little break from his weekly contributions, so this will be the last one for a while. Here he is.
I was writing thank you notes just a few minutes ago, actually, to some clients that attended a workshop of mine. And these were people who were very early on in their sales career. And one of the common threads as I wrote a personal note, personal message to each of them was to stay curious. Every single one of those salespeople came to me with preconceived notions. They came to me with ideas that didn't necessarily hold water anymore. And to their credit, they took these assumptions and they challenged them. Curiosity is going to serve them well. They're going to look for new ways to do things. Hopefully you're looking for new ways to do things. You're not so set in your ways that this is the way I do it and this is the only way I do it. As a top performer or someone who wants to be a top performer, you know that times are going to change, tactics are going to need to change along with it. So be curious about what's going on, what's effective, and what's working for people, even if it's not working for you. And then, most importantly, try to understand why. That's one of the most powerful questions I ever asked a colleague. And here's another tip that I think I've already given you in episode something or other, was have some of the top performers in your organization or other organizations on speed dial. And when you are out there, if you're behind your dashboard and driving somewhere from place to place like I used to, or just if you find yourself with some time on your calendar, call those people, see how they're doing, see what's working for them, and then ask why. It's kind of a mastermind of sorts of top performers, but they'll all be happy to tell you what's working for them. But the question that you can ask that really drives the point home, that really digs deep, that will help you both is why. Be curious as to why those tactics are working. Be even more curious about why something is working for them but not for you, and vice versa. See, curiosity helps to kind of spur your imagination, helps kind of spur your understanding. And the more you seek to understand why things work, the more likely and the more able you're going to be to adapt to the changing times as they, change. And you've heard me say this before. I don't think there's a whole lot about selling that has changed. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, pre the internet, post the internet, the concepts are there. As a seller, you have a way to help people do things that they can't do right now. You have an obligation to put yourself in front of them, communicate the value that you have, that you can provide, and ultimately nudge them, ask them for the next steps, but nudge them into making a decision that will help you both create win-win solutions, create possibilities that weren't previously available. That's always been the case with sales and will always be the case with sales, regardless of the tools and tactics that you use to make those sales. So stay curious. Look for new ways to get your job done. Push the envelope for new ways to execute on old principles. But ultimately, your curiosity about the foundational principles and the foundational elements of how and why sales are made will always serve you well. Stay curious, seek to understand, and you will succeed.
If you've appreciated Jeff's weekly contributions as much as I have, do me a favor and send Jeff a note. Let him know how much you've appreciated these ideas and encourage him to come back soon. We'll have Jeff's details so you can get in touch at DailySales.Tips/882. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.